All right, Rich, the clip of the Secretary of State Pompeo regarding Khashoggi and Saudi Arabia. Would you play that, please?
Do you believe that the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia ordered Jamal Khashoggi's killing?
I do believe. I've read every piece of intelligence, unless it's come in the last few hours. I think I've read it all. There is no direct reporting connecting the Crown Prince to the order to murder Jamal Khashoggi.
Now, let's stop there. So this is what's confusing to me. There's no direct recording linking the prince. Says he thinks he's read all the intelligence information. That's the Secretary of State. A few days back, Jake Tapper said the president was a liar, and among the things he listed was not accepting the CIA's conclusion that this Saudi prince ordered the assassination of Khashoggi. Now, I'm no fan of the Saudi Arabia or the prince or the inbreds or all the rest, but let's just stop a minute. So Jake Tapper was wrong. That's the Secretary of State. The Secretary of Defense said the same thing. Said exactly the same thing. So who's wrong and who's right? Obviously, the administration doesn't have any direct link. Now, I find it hard to believe the prince wouldn't know, but the fact is, the media are pouncing on anything possible. Anything possible. President is not lying. Jake Tapper's lying. But here we have a case of an American citizen who has been kidnapped by the Palestinians, and I haven't heard a damn thing from CNN or anybody else. Our ambassador to Israel, David Friedman, he's terrific. Friedman demands release of Palestinian American who sold property to Jews. Listen to this. U.S. Ambassador David Friedman has demanded the immediate release of Issam Akel, a Palestinian American arrested by the Palestinian Authority security forces 2 months ago for engaging in a real estate transaction with Jews in the Muslim quarter of Jerusalem's Old City. Akel's incarnation is antithetical to the values of us and all who advocate the cause of peaceful coexistence, said Friedman on Twitter. We demand his immediate release. Have you heard about this? Well, why aren't they all worked up about it in Congress? That's an American citizen. I'll tell you why in a second. Palestinian sources said Akel, a resident of Bethlehem, had worked for the PA Ministry for Local Government. The 55-year-old man, who is a U.S. citizen, is being interrogated by the Palestinian security agencies in Ramallah for his role in the sale of an Arab-owned house in the Old City of Jerusalem to a Jewish organization, sources told the Jerusalem Post. Now, did you know that there is a death penalty sentence in place by the Palestinian Authority for any Palestinian who sells property to a Jew in Jerusalem? That's been suspended to life in prison. Have you heard about this? No. Instead, Trump is a liar, Trump is a liar, Trump is a liar. Well, it seems to me Trump is telling the truth. But why isn't this being reported on CNN? Well, there could be a reason for this. What kind of people does CNN hire as contributors to CNN? Well, here's one. Our buddy Phil Klein over at the Washington Examiner, CNN commentator, calls for the elimination of Israel, endorses violent Palestinian resistance. I'm only bringing this up, ladies and gentlemen, because I think on the left, and that includes the media left, there's growing anti-Semitism in this country. You know, they have this guy Dyson going on and on about whatever he goes on and on about. But this is a fact. Within the Democrat Party, within the hardcore left, within the media. That's right, I said it, and it's true. You have that Islamist organization that's ripping off donors who were making funds available to the Jewish community in Pittsburgh after the mass slaughter by the Jew hater and the Trump hater. You didn't see any national stories about that. CNN commentator Mark Lamont Hill, in a Wednesday speech to the UN, called for violent resistance against Israel and advocated expanding Palestine, quote, from the river to the sea, unquote, a phrase used by those who believe that Israel should be eliminated. Well, what about that in a speech to the United Nations? Well, nobody cares. Nobody cares about that. Why is that? I'm quite serious about that. Then we have this organization that is involved in renting out people's homes and apartments. And I'm going to pull up that article. Can you find that article for me, Mr. Producer? Let me tell you what's going on, folks. My computer's down. My printer's down. I'm working off my iPhone, and I'm plugging away the best I can here. But I need this article, if we can find it. I think I sent it to you, didn't I? Or maybe not. It's up on Conservative Review. Would you check up there real fast? So you have this organization, and they've put out their own fatwa, if you will. It's an American company. It's privately owned. And they've said that they will not basically represent any of these homes, these apartments, these bread and breakfast types places in the so-called West Bank, Judea and Samaria, owned by Jews who are trying to rent them to other people. Owned by only Jews. Okay, pardon me, folks. It's on its way. Live radio, baby. This is the way it works. Here it is. Beautiful. Thank you. Let me take it from the Washington Free Beacon. I'm just mentioning these things because these things are building up, and I don't see them commenting on CNN, MSNBC, or anywhere else. Adam Credo, our buddy over at the Free Beacon, the recent decision by Airbnb to stop its services for Jews living in Samaria and Judea is being met with criticism by the Trump administration and pro-Israel leaders on Capitol Hill, according to sources who spoke to the Washington Free Beacon, about the company's choice to join the anti-Israel boycott, divestment, and sanctions movement, or BDS. Airbnb, a growing tech company that allows travelers to rent lodging across the globe, announced that it removed some 200 Jewish-owned rental homes in the West Bank, sparking fury in pro-Israel circles. The deepening controversy over Airbnb's decision to join the BDS movement is beginning to be discussed within the Trump administration. So here you have, this isn't discussed on Jake Tapper's program. He's Jewish, by the way. This isn't discussed on Wolf Blitzer's program. He's Jewish, by the way. It's not discussed on that. This isn't just important enough because the Democrats aren't really behind this yet. Bernie Sanders isn't behind this yet. So you have the Trump administration taking the lead on this, fighting this. You have Ted Cruz taking the lead on this, fighting this. You have the Trump administration taking the lead, trying to get back an American citizen who is of Palestinian ancestry. No coverage on CNN whatsoever, to my knowledge. You have this Islamist foundation that rips off donors who are trying to contribute to the Jewish community in Pittsburgh after the slaughter of Jews in that synagogue. Almost no attention whatsoever. Not on CNN and so forth. Instead, it's Jim Acosta. It's we don't believe Trump. He's a liar. It's not an invasion. It's a parade. Of course, the prince knew about Khashoggi, even though Mattis now and Pompeo say we don't have direct evidence. Doesn't matter. They push the Democrat agenda and the Democrat line. And more, whether people want to hear this or not, more and more, the left's agenda, and let's be honest, the left controls the Democrat Party, is this hostility that you see. This hostility that you see, and you see it in the media. By what they don't report on, by what they don't cover, by self-censorship. I'll be right back.
Mark Levin.